This is such a healthy, comforting, perfect for those cold nights. This is perfect for Ramadan. It's full of nutrients, it's full of veggies, it's full of greens. Check this out. Okay, so to make the stock, you're going to drop your chicken into the pot, and you could do one chicken, you could do half a chicken, you can do chicken drumsticks, whatever you want. All right, so I've just dropped the chicken into the pot. I'm going to quickly wash my hands before I dig into my bay leaves. Okay, so I'm going to drop in bay leaf, some peppercorn, some celery, and I love using the leaves, and I'm going to add in some sprigs of parsley, and of course some onion, and pour in your water. That's how easy stock is to make. I'm going to bring this pot to a boil, and then all you need to do is leave it to simmer for approximately an hour, and your stock is ready. You can freeze your stock, you can use it straight away for a soup, you can use it the next day, you can use it 2 days later, you can use it 3 days later. I would pop it into the fridge if you're not into the freezer if you're not using it straight away. Now we have our stock on the stove. We're going to bring that to a boil. And once it boils, I will reduce the heat. But to help it boil really fast, I'm going to partially cover this. Don't fully cover it because the water will overflow. So partially put your lid on and just leave it. This will take a good 10 minutes to come to a boil. Okay, so this is the half a chicken that we used. Oh, let me get this out without the parsley. Here we go. It goes into a bowl because we're going to shred this chicken meat. So I'm going to put that aside. Now I'm going to strain the stock. And now we chop. Drop your potatoes. And in the same bowl, we're actually going to add our also diced pumpkin, because pumpkin and potato take very similar time to cook. And to that same bowl, we're going to add our carrot matchsticks. So here's a celery tip for you. So you know all those stringy bits in your celery? Use a peeler, okay, to peel them off. Easy, quick, and it peels everything off so you don't get no stringy bits in your food or your soup. Just remove the end bit of your celery and then just slice that. Remember, with this soup, we want bite-sized pieces. We don't want big pieces of veggies. Diagonally cut your leek, turn them around, and just shred them. A little bit like your capsicum. Sorry. A little bit like your celery, so not to confuse you. There's no capsicum in this recipe. All right, so now we are going to, over here, let's have a look. We are going to drop our celery, our leek and celery and beans all together because again, they have a similar cooking time. Now with our broccoli, we're just going to cut them into smaller pieces, smaller florets, like little ones. Remember, it's all bite size. And they go on their own because they don't need long at all. And in another bowl, I have some chopped baby spinach and some chopped parsley. I use baby spinach because I find it so much more tender to use in a soup, and it cuts really well and it cuts really small, and it's so much easier to eat in a soup. So I've combined those because they go in right at the end of the soup. So first of all, what we're going to do is I'm going to melt some butter. All right, so guys, we're only starting with 4 cups of stock for a reason. So we will be using the other stock also for the soup. So make sure you don't get rid of it or you don't freeze it because it is for the soup, but I'll show you why. We only need 4 cups to begin with. Okay, so add in your flour. I'm doing this on low heat and I'm going to, it gets foamy, so you're going to stir really quickly. You want to try to avoid as many lumps as possible, right? So working on a low heat. Once it's well combined, you're going to now start adding your stock, but you only want to add 1/4 cup at a time, stirring really, really quickly and continuously to avoid those lumps. Right, so do this very slowly. Okay, once you have it a little bit under control, and you will know, keep adding your stock. Now turn your heat back to high. Keep stirring, right? You're not in the safe zone yet. And keep adding your stock. And now about 2 cups down, you probably could add a little bit more stock at a time. Keep stirring. And once you have this well combined, there's no lumps, it's nice and liquidy, go ahead and add the rest of the stock. Okay, and now for the rest of your stock, we are going to add the rest of the stock to our soup. And we're going to bring this to a boil. Once your chicken has cooled, okay, remove any yucky bits and just shred the chicken thinly into another bowl. Okay, so once you bring that to a boil, drop your first lot of veggies in, which are your pumpkin, your potato, your carrot, right? And lower the heat. And what I would do here is partially cover the pot. So you want it on medium, you don't want it on low heat, but you want it kind of on like medium to low. And we're gonna leave that for about 7 minutes and before we add the next lot of veggies. All right, so once your potato softens a little bit, we don't want it to be completely cooked. We're going to add our beans, celery and leek, and we are going to also cook those and let them boil on low for about 5 minutes. Okay, so again, 5 minutes or so. You don't want your vegetables to be too mushy, because remember with soup you need to reheat it. So you know that's nice and hot, but it's nice and soft. And so now I add my broccoli, and that only needs a couple of minutes. Again, I leave the pot partially covered. It's nearly ready. Let's season with salt. Okay, because remember I didn't season my stock. I don't season my stock, I always season after. And give that a stir, and so optional your cream, but honestly you should. Just a tablespoon, that's all you need, right? And this part here, what do? Just stir in the hot water and it will just dissolve in. Give that a stir. This is so yum, so healthy, so good. Now, let's add in the spinach and parsley. And the shredded chicken. And 2 minutes, no more than 2 minutes on that stove on low, and we are done. Go in for a bit of everything. So satisfying. It's so satisfying. It's really yum.